Alright, I'm awake now, I've had my coffee, and I wish I didn't for the sake of this movie. Pan. Not sure what I have to say about this movie. You see, when I went into the theater, I had never heard of this movie before. I just saw posters for it, and I think I may have seen the trailer at one point, but I wasn't paying much attention. I must have been doing something else at the time. But, you know, it seemed like an interesting premise where we get the backstory of Peter Pan, where I thought at the time, because when I was younger I used to read, and I still kind of do, because, I mean, it's an interesting series to me, at least, because I used to read it, the Peter and the Starcatchers series. It's basically a story telling how this fairy dust kind of came to be, and how everything kind of came to be. And it takes Peter Pan, the book, Peter and the Starcatchers, and twists it, but it makes the characters still lovable. In the sense that they're good characters, you can follow them, and, well, it's a book, so at least their acting doesn't suck, right? Anyway, so coming into the movie adaptation, the 11th one actually, the first one was released, I believe, in 1926. Since then, it's been adapted into a movie 11 times, including this one, which should not have been a movie. The movie takes points from various other movies, takes plot ideas, takes plot points from other movies, where you have Peter Pan, right? And his name has always been Peter, and then he has, like, a little necklace that his mother gave him when he was a child, and it's taking, at the very beginning, it's, the World War II kind of era in England, and the German Nazis are bombing, English settlements and stuff, and, like, that, to me, right away, screamed Narnia, because that's how the first, movie adaptation, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, started off, where you have the kids, they're living in their houses get bombed, they have to go to a bomb shelter, and then one of them leaves something behind, so they have to go back, and then they nearly get killed. So that exact same thing happens at the beginning of Pan. And then after that, something swoops down from the sky, and then takes them away to Neverland. Now this sounds exactly like Harry Potter to me, or at least in a very similar way, where you have Hagrid, who swoops down from the sky in a flying motorbike, and then he says, "Harry, you're a wizard!" And Harry's like, "What? I'm a wizard?" And then he takes them away to Hogwarts, and Harry has a happy life for once in his life. What? I mean, I understand Harry Potter, and Harry Potter, I feel like, was very unique, because it had its own story. It was making up its own new thing. But the thing with Pan is that it takes an old story that we have all grown up with, or at least I assume most of the people watching this video have seen at least one adaptation of the Peter Pan movies. Whether that be the Broadway performance, or that be the more recent one with, like, the actually semi-decent kid actor, and then, or Hook, you know. But where did this one go wrong? Oh, I know where it went wrong. It went wrong in all of its time concepts. You see, we see Peter dropped off in the 1930s era, and his mom is actually dressed like a 1930s woman. Or at least we assume it's his mom, because she vaults over a gate and then plops him down in front of the orphanage and then runs away. So we assume it's a mom, a single mom, because or a mom running from something. And that's what we can gather from the very beginning of the movie. And I'm thinking, okay, so this is kind of interesting. The visual effects are kind of cool, and the characters are stereotypically true. You have Miss Hannigan, you have Annie, you have Annie's best friend who always depends on her. Everything just falls apart. The pirates pick them up, and they're taking them to Neverland. Now everyone knows, oh my goodness, we are going to see a 2015, like, with the technology we have now, we're going to see a Neverland created by the technology we have now. Instead, we get this giant mud hole. We get a mine where they're sent to mine pixie dust so that Hugh Jackman can use the pixie dust to regenerate himself so that he can be like the Doctor and live forever. And what also rubbed me the wrong way was when you first meet Hugh Jackman and the pirates, like the pirates come in on their ship and they have all the boys, and the boys are terrified and everything, and then suddenly Hugh Jackman walks up and he's like, "I'm Blackbeard." And then he starts singing Nirvana, a band that won't be created for another 40 years. He's singing Smells Like Teen Spirit, this song, that's the song name, and he's singing Nirvana. Why would you have a pirate singing Nirvana in the 1940s. That doesn't make any sense. Are you saying that, oh, Blackbeard is so awesome that he created this song that went on to later inspire one of the most successful alternative rock bands in the history of alternative rock, or at least in North America? But no, I mean, there's really nothing else that's going to it, and it takes away from the story, because then, for the rest of the movie, I don't care how bad it was. Well, okay, no, I kind of do, but like, for the rest of the movie, I was distracted by that single point, and no matter how good they were, the actors were, how good the story was, or how good the set looked, that one thing started a row of dominoes. In a way, you know how like you set up a bunch of dominoes and you hit one and it goes brrrr. It had that kind of effect, the domino effect. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Where it just fell apart from there for me. Because now we meet Hook, and we don't know it's Hook at first because he yells all like, "Alright, kid. You best be watching your background in these ponds." And then suddenly we figure out, oh hey, Peter Pan's a kid of prophecy, because crappy script writing. We can just throw that out there. We can say, oh, he's a kid of prophecy. He's, I don't know, Jesus or something, so that he can save the people from the pirates, and then that's the end of the story. The thing about prophecies is that, like, there's such an easy and predictable storyline, you know? The kid is a kid of prophecy. He will come and save the land. And then the pirates are all like, no, that can never come true because it's a prophecy made up by these crackpots over here. And no, I mean, obviously, it's a movie. We all know. We're all sitting there in the audience thinking like, he's a kid of prophecy. He's the son of a fairy and a human. Probably going to end in Peter Pan's favor just because they said prophecy. What? It doesn't follow. And then, like, that's just the storyline. That's just the storyline falling apart. Then we have half the movie in this depressing mind pit. And then I'm going to go back to Hook now, because remember how I said, like, he started off all depressed and that and stuff. And then suddenly, he figures out, oh, Peter Pan is the kid of prophecy. He's going to fly and beat the crap out of every pirate. So I'm going to join him. I'm going to be a good guy who talks out of one eye and tries to talk like a pirate all the time. And then suddenly I go back and I'm depressed. I mean, that's basically the feeling I got from him. He was a very inconsistent character. What happened? Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He would be depressed and coarse 1 second, like, no, back off, to, I'm a pirate. But you don't really know that yet, because I still have both my hands. My name is only conveniently named James Hook, so you don't. So that's the only way you were able to make any similarities between me and the real character from the movie. Tiger Lily, who's played by Rooney Mara. I have no idea who Rooney Mara is, but man, she is not what I expected when it came down to seeing Tiger Lily in a movie. Because when I've watched the 1956 version, the Disney version, the cartoon version, and I've read the books, and I've always imagined, like, the native people of Neverland to actually look like Native Americans, but it doesn't happen that way. It's just a fantastical butchering of the original story. It blows itself out of proportion. It has way too much hype for a crappy script, a crappy bunch of acting, and just a crappy setting in general. Because when we're going from this, I don't know, like this horrible place that we know is the orphanage, that's all dark and depressing, and then they get carted off to Neverland, and we're like, oh yes, we're going to see Neverland. We're going to have colors and everything, because I remember that's what Hook really capitalized on, sort of. And that's what the Peter Pan in the cartoon really capitalized on, was like the color and the diversity of Neverland. But no, we're given this brown, stinking hole. You're sitting there in this hole, and then when you finally do get out, it's just awkward from there on out. There's actually this one part where the pirates figure out that natives, they figure out where the natives have the map to where the fairies have their home base and where they're located and how to get there and stuff. And then they go to them, and then they're like, all right, elder, you better tell me where this here cave of wonders is, or I'm going to shoot you. And then the guy's like, the greatest release is death. And then he dies. But the thing about how he dies, he shoots him, And then he explodes into color. He explodes into a puff of, I forgot what color, if it was blue, purple, yellow, or red, or whatever color it was kiddish. It was like watching a cartoon. The thing is that this movie is rated PG, but at the very beginning you have Nirvana singing Blackbeard, kicking kids off of gangplanks, off of his flying ship, so that they plummet to their death down below. Like, this is a kid movie where you are kicking people off a gangplank, and then suddenly you're threatening an old guy at gunpoint, and then so we're thinking, because like at the beginning it was so violent and everything, like with the people getting kicked off the gangplank, you're thinking there, while he's standing with the gun pointed at the elder's head, you're thinking, oh, well, he's gonna die, and they're gonna like look away, and then like the character's gonna be like, oh, you know, like, oh, that was so brutal, right? No, we see the whole thing. He shoots him, he explodes into color. Like, we're watching a cartoon, for goodness sakes. That's what this movie is. This movie is a readaptation of a cartoon with bad acting, trying to recreate it in live action. That is my synopsis, and I say that this movie would only be worth your time if you went to the third-hand resale store, bought it for 50 cents, and had a bottle of tequila in the other hand. So have you guys seen Pan? If you did, comment below. Say what you thought about it. Say if there's anything you think I might have missed in my review. I am very open to suggestions and to what you guys might have to say. And so, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you on the flip side. He's an awesome guy. Yeah. Yes. He's like, yeah, they're taking me to death.